What's up, everybody? Welcome to BioS 3 Raw TV. Well, tonight I'm going to do something that it's a little bit different, but just bear with me. This is going to be a super important video for pretty much everybody out there. Whether you need this advice or not, there's somebody in your life that's going to need this advice I'm about to talk to, so it can actually help you give that person a different type of advice than you maybe normally would, which actually help them out a lot, but it may make some things click in your brain too. So every single day, and I mean every single day, I go through my emails, and I'm still going through emails from last February. I still haven't gotten to some of them, so I'm working on it, guys. I'm doing my best, but there's so much shit that I have to do, especially email-wise. It's hard for me to get to them all. And DMs, I never really get to those unless I actually know the person. Then I kind of will reply to those. It's some fucking... I have these long-ass fucking eyelashes. I don't know if you guys can see them. When I get one in my eye, oh, what a giant pain in the ass. Anyways, and of course, I'll shut down in the middle of a fucking video on YouTube to fucking pull an eyelash out of my eye. But hey, no second takes, right? Anyways, so every day I'll get emails from people, messages from people, sometimes even texts from people that I know. And mostly people that I don't know. They'll be like, hey, Jerry, I've been doing this calorie-wise, and this is happening and that. But if I do this, what about that? And I'm like, fuck. I'll look at it. There's all this information. I'm like, it looks like there's a fucking scientist writing this thing, right? And I'm going, you're asking like a very basic question with a fuck ton of scientific fucking stuff that's confusing, and it's very obvious that this person has read so much material that contradicts each other that there's like 20 contradictions in it, and you're like, fucking timeout, right? Listen, I just was texting my friend Taurus. What's up, Taurus? And we were talking about how learning takes place. Like, I was just going through this. I was like, you know what? This makes a good video. I think I'm going to talk about this tonight. So we learn not by reading. I think a lot of people think that reading is how they learn. Reading is how you gain knowledge. Learning is something we do since the second that we are born, we're actually learning. That has nothing to do with reading. So what happens is people think by gathering all this information and reading that they're gaining, that they're learning. They don't understand they're gaining knowledge. And knowledge has to be applied to actually learn. It's two different things. I think that people just kind of group it all into one thing. So what happens inevitably is somebody will be like, I want to start lifting weights because I want to get jacked. I want girls. I want to be huge. I want to be like a superhero. I want to look like I belong in the Marvel Universe. So let me go online and research, right? Because it's the first thing that you know how to do. But what's interesting is you wind up gaining knowledge and reading long after you've already learned how to learn. But we don't realize that because learning is so ingrained in us since we were born. It's so primal that it's automatic. We automatically learn, right? Like if we go in the, we're kids and our mom's cooking and they tell us not to touch a stove because it's hot, right? And we're like, okay, it's hot. Like they're giving us knowledge, right? But we haven't learned not to touch it. Your mother gave you the knowledge that it's hot, but don't touch it. So what we do is inevitably, sometimes some of us, go up and we touch a stove and go, fuck, it's hot and it hurts. We just learned what our mother told us. We just reaffirmed it. So knowledge is kind of like the comprehension of it. Learning is the application of it and actually knowing what it feels like and has the experience. That's learning. So as we touch that, we now learn not to touch it anymore. And then we realize what our mother said was right. We had to put it into play first to realize that it was true. Why? I don't fucking know. It's just how it goes, right? So inevitably, this person that wants to get huge and be like a Marvel superhero character and get all these girls starts researching, and he finds one thing about how to build muscle. And he goes, okay, cool. But then he just clicks out of the website, and then Google, he's got all this other stuff. So he goes, oh, what's this one? Boom. What's this one? Now he's looked at 4 things. There's 4 different fucking things. And now he's like, fuck. So now he says, well, I don't know where to begin. So the next day comes, and he doesn't go to the gym. What does he do? He gets back online because he didn't know where to start. There was 4 different ways to start. He goes back online. He keeps looking because he was confused about 4. And now, by the end of the day, he has 7 things that all contradict each other. All about training and getting huge. And now he's like, what the fuck? So then, inevitably, I get the fucking email. After like weeks, months, sometimes even years, people will send me the email. Hey, Jerry, blah, 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 blah. I read this, I read that, and I get the fucking statement that nothing pisses me off more than this. I don't want to waste my time. And I'm like, first of all, you think it's a waste of time by learning. What the fuck? You've learned 0 so far. You have knowledge about where you should be fucking starting, but you have 0 fucking learning that you have done in the past fucking whatever. But you don't want to waste your time. Waste your time learning? You can't learn unless you do. Because now what happens is I'm going to tell you something, right? And you're going to go, wow, that's maybe lines up with one of the 7 things, or maybe it's an 8th thing that I tell you that fucking doesn't make any sense, and you're like, fuck, now that contradicts everything. But let's just say for shits and giggles, I say something that lines up here, like everyone, there's 7 things. I tell you that this one, and they go, okay, it matches up to that one. That's where I'm gonna start. Now you go, well, there's 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1. Now Jerry tells me that this one, well, that matches up. There's 2 of that one, 2 to 1 on these, 2 wins, 2 beats 1 every time. Now I'll start there. So then what you do is you go in the gym and you start learning. Now you actually start learning, right? And you go in the gym and you find out that, wow, what Jerry said is not working. Well, that's really weird. But there were 6 other things besides the one that I had done, right? So maybe your body type fits one of those 6 other things possibly, right? But now what happens is you go, well, fuck, that didn't work. Well, fuck, Jerry was wrong. Let me go back and research, right? Now you go back and research. Now you got an 8th, a 9th, a 10th fucking thing. All these things are contradicting each other, and you don't know where to begin, so you just really never start. You technically started, but you stopped because you think it wasn't working. Rather than going, hey, before I go on any further, that one Jerry said didn't work, so I'm going to go with the 6, right? What's happening in this one? That one doesn't work. Boom, right? I got 5 left. Let me try this one. Boom, that one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. That one doesn't work. This one doesn't work. Finally, you get down to one. This last one, you try that one, it works. Or it doesn't work. Now what happens is you have none. You go back to the drawing board and start researching again. Now you have 1. Now you have 2 new things. So by process of elimination, you're gaining knowledge of things that didn't work by reading, but then you're applying them and learning that they didn't work for you. So you can go back and get more knowledge about more things that may possibly work, and then try to learn by doing again. We learn by doing. When we're born, we literally lay there and fucking look around. Like, we can't read anything, right? But we learn to fucking, if you do this to a baby enough, they raise their fucking hand. Like, they wind up, not necessarily a baby, but like a kid, like a 1-year-old, if you keep doing like this over and over again, next thing you know, like my little nephew, I do this, and he does this. He doesn't know how to do his thumb yet. He can't do his thumb. He's like 1.5, 2, whatever he is. He can't do his thumb, but he's got that fucking 1 finger, so he thinks he's doing the same thing. However, he learned how to do this by watching me do this. But if he had never done this and he just keeps staring at it, he hasn't learned how to do even this. Eventually, he'll learn how to do this. Learning by doing. That's how it works, right? So when people say they don't want to waste their time, I'm like, first of all, you're not wasting your time, you're learning, right? Which this whole process is going to be learning whether you like it or not. No one can tell you, here's the fucking blueprint, go. That's just how it is. Even a trainer or a coach that you hire has to go through a feeling out period to experiment and see what the fuck your body's doing, because we don't know what the fuck is going on either. All these motherfuckers that give you a printed out, like, you buy the program and it hits your emails within fucking 10 seconds, that's your program? That cookie cutter shit? Of course you're not going to learn anything from that. It's literally just, we don't know anything about you. How the fuck can that work? We need to learn about you while you do and we watch. So we learn by watching you, by you doing. We can't learn, like, we can get all the information on the intake form, right? Get all the information down. We may have the knowledge about you, and then we go look at it and go, well, this is, well, I think this is doing this is doing this. So I think what happened is this. So you make the adjustments, you go here, do this, and the person goes and does that, and then you're learning what their body is doing as they're doing it. They come back and report it to you. Now you've learned that when this person does this, their body does that. We know that their body responds to this. We're learning by you doing. You have to do in order to learn. But I think one of the biggest things that bothers me is people are so conceited. Like, they're so fucking stuck up that I get so pissed, because I'm like, and I've asked this question before. I said, okay, you don't want to waste your time. They're like, no. I'm like, so you think it's okay for me to waste my time for 25 years, gain all this knowledge, all this experience, and actually learn these things by doing them, but you don't want to waste your time by going and learning yourself? What makes your time more valuable than mine? And most of the time, it throws them for a loop, because it seems like I'm fucking attacking them, but I'm like, you're being disrespectful to the person that you're asking for this fucking... It's not... It's gonna be knowledge no matter what. If I give it to you, it's just knowledge. You haven't learned anything yet. So what makes it okay for you to fucking skip the whole process of learning, ask for the knowledge that you think is going to make your body respond, and never put the effort of actually learning into it? What makes it okay? Like, why is your time more important or more valuable than anybody else's? It's not. And the only way you're going to succeed is by learning and doing. So right off the bat, I don't even fucking answer these emails anymore. Because I'm like, when I start reading this thing and it's fucking 2 paragraphs about all this fucking shit, I'm like, this motherfucker's been out there researching like crazy. If they just did this, they would find out whether or not it worked. Then they could scrap that and try something. They're not learning. They're not helping themselves. Why the fuck am I going to help somebody who's not helping themselves? I put out all this information on YouTube for 100% free, not a fucking dime. YouTube's paying even less than ever now. For me to even be making videos every day, I'm in the fucking red. I'm wasting time, to be totally honest with you. But to me, I feel good when I'm able to give knowledge and give information, then you can learn from it, right? So if I have 3,000 videos on YouTube, and you can't take your time, which you don't want to waste, to go through those videos and search through them and find the information that you're asking me for because I already put it up, I'm not going to hand it to you on a platter. I'm not going to give it to you. Fuck that. Go out there and work for it. Go out there and learn on your own. Because let's say I did give you all the information. I took whatever there's in the video, I transcribed, I gave it to you. I guarantee you, you're going to look at it and go, well, that's interesting. I've never heard that before. Let me research that. And you're going to go and fucking look for other shit online. You're not going to take that and fucking run with it. Because more than likely, it's not going to line up with what the fuck you're talking about. Because all the shit you've learned already or you have knowledge of already doesn't make any fucking sense to you. What I'm going to say is not going to make sense. You know why? Because you haven't learned how those things work. You haven't learned how your body works. You haven't learned how those things piece together work. You haven't learned anything. People think because they read a book they've learned. What? Listen, time out. We're taught in school because that's the way the fucking the education institution is, that if you read something, memorize it, regurgitate it, and put it on a fucking test, you have learned something. No, you have gained knowledge. You don't start learning until your ass is out there in the real world. You can sit there, perfect example is my friend Taurus. He's a lawyer. And my question to him was, how much more have you actually learned by being in court doing rather than just reading, right? So let's say, let's make this something like that everybody can relate to. So let's say I'm a lawyer, right? And I've read all these things and I go into court and I'm like, fuck, I'm ready to go. Do you just start handling giant cases and shit because you've read everything? No. But you have all the information. You graduated from Harvard Law. Why aren't you in there fucking killing it? Because you haven't learned what to do when you walk in the fucking court. You will go in there and lose case after case after case. Maybe you win a couple cases. But you'll lose and learn from that. Or even when you win a case, you can be like, fuck, we could have done this and this and would have fucking saved time with this. And we would have had this fucking outcome earlier. You're going to learn by doing. Learn, I don't want to say shortcuts, but learn the direct avenues, which is kind of a shortcut, rather than going all over the fucking place that these books and stuff teach us. The mechanic who reads all that information, has all the knowledge, and starts working on engines, if you're just a brand new mechanic, you think that they're going to hand over a whole business to you and say, here you go, you graduated from the best mechanic school around? No, that mechanic that's been working on cars for 40-something years is going to have your ass apprentice under him. He's going to watch you, and you're going to make mistakes because you haven't learned shit. You just have some knowledge. And when you make those mistakes, he's going to teach you. He's going to teach you by doing, hands-on doing, like actually practical application in the fucking, in the machine shop or the motor shop, I don't want to say body shop, the fucking, in the mechanic place, whatever. I'm drawing a blank right now. But he's going to teach you from you being in there, the automotive repair shop, that this is the way you do this when this happens. Well, the book didn't say that. Well, of course it's not going to, because the book was made 20 years ago, and this is something that I've learned by doing it like this. The engine is different now through, like, you're going to learn by doing, and he's going to teach you. That's how we learn. We're creatures by sight, sound, feel, right, or touch, taste, smell, all of that stuff. So when you learn, when you gain knowledge, you're reading. That's one fucking sense. Your sight, that's it. Now your brain is not a sense, but you're just learning by this. When you go in the gym, you now hear the sound of the fucking weights clanging. You feel the bar in your hand. You know what it feels like. So now your ears and your hands, the sound and touch, right? When you're fucking pressing, you're gonna get that metallic taste in your fucking mouth, right? You're gonna fucking be drinking your pre-workout or your post-workout, your fucking water. You taste, it's all in there, right? Sight, you're gonna be seeing what you're doing. You're gonna be looking at other people. Why is his wrist like this instead of that? You're gonna be seeing things. Then you get on the thing, you go, oh, instead of this, like this. Okay. Oh shit! Wow, it takes the pressure off my wrist. You're gonna be learning by using all your senses, actually being in the fucking gym, and not using that one sense, which is just your eyes, putting in your brain, then walking into the gym and going, well, fuck. You pick up the bar. You ever see a beginner when they pick up a pair of dumbbells? They pick up the fucking dumbbells. They read it. They comprehend it. They pick up the dumbbells, like light dumbbells, and they're like fucking things are twisting and tturning. They haven't learned what a dumbbell feels like in their fucking hand, right? So they have to learn. So they gain knowledge, then they learn, then they apply, they reapply, they change things, and they become better. But you are not going to become better unless you learn. So it's time to stop this paralysis by analysis where you just keep fucking reading and you think you're doing, you're not. I'm sorry, you're not doing what you think you are. You're not as smart as you think you are. Matter of fact, Ian McCarthy is a perfect example of this. That motherfucker read all the studies, all the science, all the everything, mechanics and everything, could not produce shit on the gym and himself or his clients. The results were fucking okay at best. I mean, I would say they weren't even okay. They were less than okay with what he did to himself with all that information. He couldn't take somebody and apply that information and get them to have better results than anyone else because he had read it and he had knowledge, but he hadn't learned shit yet. When he got in the gym and started learning, he was like, fuck, some of these bros are right. Fuck. He was pissed. I don't blame him because everything he thought was real was crashing down around him because it didn't pan out in the gym like it said in the fucking papers. So be aware, guys. If you're out there trying to figure out where to start, listen, go out there, get some knowledge. Don't go fucking crazy. Read a couple things. See what makes sense to you. Okay? See what things make sense to you. Dorian's training made sense to him. Jay Cutler's training made sense to him. The way that I trained, Phil Hernan had taught me, made sense to me. These things made sense the way they were presented, and then I went in the gym and applied. Then Jay went in the gym and applied. Then fucking Dorian went in the gym and applied them. But until we apply them, we don't fucking know. There are things that all of us have gone through that we have scrapped completely because they didn't pan out to the way that we read about them. The knowledge we had didn't pan out with fucking what we learned. So you scrapped them and found the actual way, but it's not a waste of time. Stop viewing it as a waste of time. You are learning. You're taking the time to learn a craft. Well, bodybuilding is not really a craft, but a craft, a sport, a hobby. You're learning. And learning is something we do from beginning when we were born to the time we fucking die. That doesn't change. So I don't think you're wasting your time. You're not wasting time. You're learning something you actually want to learn, right? You're not being forced to learn something you don't want to learn that you're not interested in. You're learning something that you're interested in, something you want to do, something you want personally. How the fuck is that a waste of time? It's not. BodyStreetTraining@gmail.com. Leave comments down below, but don't fight. BodyStreetTraining.com is a blog. It's the not wasting time bicep, and we are out.